Hi, this is Mr. Wedge, and last time in art class we did a still life painting, and we talked about line and shape and overlapping. So we looked at a plate of fruit on our table, and then we outlined the shape of the fruit, but we thought about what was in front of other things. Okay, so the banana's in front of the grapes are in front of the apple, and all of the fruit is in front of the plate, and the plate's in front of the table, and the table's in front of the wall. So we have all these parts. So now we're going to bring it to life. We're going to add color. So we're going to need a little brush again, little brush, and a paper plate to put paint on. We're going to use tempera paint. And what colors do you see in the fruit? We're just going to paint the fruit today. What colors do you see? I see red, so I'm going to take a little bit of red. You don't need much. I see yellow, and I see green. Just a little bit. We're going to be mixing colors a lot. So once you have your plate set up, you can start mixing and painting. It's good to have a bucket of water too to wash your brush. Okay, so first, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but that banana is not exactly the same kind of yellow as the lemon. This looks a little bit green, especially on the ends. And the yellow lemon looks a little bit more orange, actually. So we can mix these and adjust our colors as we go. So I'm going to take yellow, put it in a new pile, and add a teeny tiny bit of green. And that'll turn it into like a greenish yellow. So that's something I can use for my banana. The way Paul Cezanne paints is a little brush. He looks really carefully at what's in front of him, or he did. And then he'd mix his color, and then he paints in little patches. So there's a little patch of color. And then he'd go back and adjust the color a little bit. So he'd look really carefully, he'd change his color a little bit, and then he'd paint another patch. There's another little patch. And just because you have that color doesn't mean you don't have to use it again. You can use it other places too. But you just paint a little patch of color and then mix a new pile. It looks a little bit orange on the bottom to me, so really carefully I'm going to take a tiny bit of red, stir it in. Whoa, that's way too orange. So I'm going to take that, put it in a new pile, add some yellow to it. That's more like it. Little patch of color. And this is the Paul Cezanne way of painting fruit, or people, or landscapes, or anything that he painted. And you can just use the color all by itself, the local color. That's okay to do too. So there we go. That's kind of a Paul Cezanne banana. So then I'm going to wash my brush, get all that color out. Like I said, the lemon is a little bit more orange, so I can take yellow and put it in this crazy orange color that I had. But I'm not going to paint the whole lemon. I'm just going to paint a part of it, because every fruit can have lots of different colors in it, and you can adjust them as you go. So we're always changing them a little bit, painting a patch of color, right? And you could always make things darker too if you wanted to. That's a more interesting lemon than if I just painted it yellow, okay? So we're painting the Paul Cezanne way today. So I'm going to wash my brush, because I noticed that the red apples, they're red, but they're kind of dark. Well, green is the opposite of red. It's the complement. And when you mix complements, they get darker. So let's see if this works. If I take red and I put it in a new pile, and a little bit of green, and mix it. Ooh, look, I just made dark red. See that? And that's more like some of those grapes. But I'm not going to paint everyone, just maybe a little bit here and there. And then I'm going to go back and mix more colors and adjust them and change them a little bit. The fruit doesn't have to be in the same spot either, okay? So this isn't exactly the same still life I had before. So I'll make this apple red, and I'll make the other one green. It's a little bit different. But a patch of color, and then I can go back and make a slightly different red, mix it up in a new pile. There's a really bright orangey red patch of color, Go back and adjust it again. Patch of color. Go back. Let's make it really dark. Let's take more green and add it to our red pile. You could do the shadows underneath. Oh, look at that. Wash my brush. Try to get a lot of the water out if you can. There we go. That's a much more interesting apple than if I just painted it red. Okay? So we're going to mix as we go. We're going to adjust our colors, and we're going to paint in patches. So I got to fill up all these grapes here. Just kind of, you scribble a little area. There we go. But I'm still staying inside that shape I worked really hard on. Do you see that? So next I'm going to make that green is not exactly green. So I wash my brush. And it looks kind of like a yellowy green. So I'm going to take that, put it in a new pile. Scoop up a lot of yellow. Stir it up. That's more like it. But just like before, you just paint a little patch of it. And then you adjust your color. You go back and you make a new pile and you change it a little bit. Paint a patch. And sometimes you can mix right on your painting too. So look at the fruit, see what colors you can make, and if you want to make brown, you could just add all three together. So red, green, yellow, stir it up. That would make brown. If you see brown in like a grape leaf or something, little patches. Okay? So just painting the fruit today, but give it a try. Work hard, have fun. Try not to make a huge mess. This just goes in the garbage when you're done. And yeah, have a great time.